For 1,500 years, the Hagia Sophia has stood as a monument to history, to faith, and architecture. But even masterpieces need restoration. Today, we're not just looking at the past, we're also looking at how technology is revolutionizing archaeology and reshaping the future of the museum experience itself. Let's step away from cliches. Turkey isn't just a bridge between continents. It's literally where civilization itself took its first steps. From the ancient Neolithic site of Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple, to the layered cities of Troy, Ephesus, and Çatalhöyük, this land has witnessed empires rise and fall, religions bloom and blend, and human ingenuity carve stories into stone. For centuries, archaeology here relied on picks, brushes, and a whole lot of guesswork. But now, a new era is unfolding. From the skies above to the soil beneath, cutting-edge tools, from LiDAR to photogrammetry, are revealing secrets that have been buried for millennia. And it's doing it with astonishing speed and accuracy. But the journey from soil to story doesn't end at the dig site. Much of what's been uncovered across Anatolia and beyond is now housed at the Istanbul Archaeological Museum, which is home to one of the world's richest legal collections. Since the invention of photography was still more than 1,000 years ahead, this is as close as you're gonna get to a Roman emperor's yearbook. Stoic stares from Caligula, Augustus, and Commodus line the halls, each marble bust capturing a frozen moment of power and pride. Among the museum's crown jewels, the ornately carved Alexander sarcophagus, unearthed in Sidon, a masterpiece of funerary art with battle scenes, hunting scenes, and legends in marble. And some legends are human, others are superhuman. Towering behind me is Zeus, the king of gods, just one of the thousands of priceless artifacts that are being displayed here at the Istanbul Archaeology Museum. From empires long gone to civilizations that are still being uncovered, this place isn't just a vault of history, it's also a gateway to the stories that are buried beneath our feet. To tell me more about the museum's legacy and how technology is changing archaeology, I met with Rahmi Asal, director of the Istanbul Archaeological Museum. This is an amazing building. Tell me a little bit more about the museum, the history, and what's inside.
Of course. İstanbul Arkeoloji Müzeleri
The Istanbul Archaeology Museums are the first museum of the Ottoman Empire and therefore also the first museum in Turkey. The museum was initially established in 1845 inside the Hagia Irene Church. After some time, the collection was moved from Hagia Irene to the tiled kiosk. Shortly after, Osman Hamdi Bey, who is considered the founder of modern museology in Turkey, led excavations in Sidon in present-day Lebanon, specifically at the Royal Necropolis. These excavations uncovered extraordinarily important artifacts, such as the Alexander sarcophagus and the sarcophagus of the Weeping Women. It is important to emphasize that unlike museums such as the Metropolitan Museum, the Hermitage, or the Louvre, our main building was designed and constructed specifically as a museum, rather than being converted from another structure. This is a crucial distinction, especially considering the difficult economic conditions of the late Ottoman period. Beyond the building itself, the museum's collections are exceptionally significant, with nearly 1 million artifacts from regions including Anatolia, Mesopotamia, Greece, Romania, Lebanon, and Afghanistan. The Istanbul Archaeology Museums hold one of the richest collections in the world. Unlike many comparable institutions, these collections were acquired entirely through legal means. When these artifacts arrived here, cities like Sidon were administrative centres of the same empire, as much as Ankara is today. Therefore, all these works entered the collection through lawful and legitimate processes, which is an important point to underline.
So we're talking nearly 200 years this building in terms of the age, and a lot has changed in 200 years. Technology has become a big part of archaeology and modern museum understanding. Talk to me about how some of the technological advances has changed, has helped archaeology.
Evet, ya arkeoloji aslında çok
Archaeology is neither an ancient nor a very new discipline. Its foundations were laid in the 18th and 19th centuries. Early archaeological methods were largely limited to surface surveys conducted by travellers and archaeologists. Through these surveys, sites were identified either by visible remains or by reference in ancient Roman and Byzantine sources. Once a site was located, excavations were carried out using very basic tools such as shovels, picks, hoes and trowels, methods that are still partly in use today. However, today we are in a very different place, with aerial photography, laser scanning, LiDAR technology and geophysical and geological methods. Before excavating, we can now determine what kind of archaeological remains are likely to be found underground. This gives us a significant advantage in terms of time and precision. Today, while archaeologists still lead the excavations, teams may include archaeobotanists, zooarchaeologists, geographers, geologists, geophysicists, conservators, architects, engineers, photographers, and many others, depending entirely on the needs of the site. This multidisciplinary approach allows archaeology to answer questions not only about material culture, but also about ancient agriculture, industry, coastlines, and even shipbuilding technologies. A striking example of this is the Yenikapi excavations carried out under the direction of the Istanbul Archaeology Museums during the Marmaray Metro project. In Yenikapi, 37 shipwrecks were discovered, shedding unprecedented light on Roman and Byzantine shipbuilding technologies.
tahribatı da önlüyor.
Istanbul is layered with history, but it's not just under the streets, it's also beneath the waves. A capital of empires, Istanbul was also one of the world's most vital maritime hubs. Beneath its harbor lie sunken treasures, many lost to time. Until recently, one discovery changed everything. During the construction of the Marmaray Transcontinental Rail project, archaeologists uncovered the ancient Theodosian harbor, along with 37 shipwrecks, making it the largest ever collection of medieval vessels to be uncovered from the seabed. And now with new scanning and digital reconstruction tools, those lost vessels are rising from the depths to tell their secrets. From 7th century cargo ships to galleys from the Byzantine fleet, the Yenikapi wrecks offered a rare time capsule into ancient seafaring. Documented in 3D, preserved with precision freeze-drying systems, and reconstructed digitally, these ships are being brought back to life piece by piece. I spoke with Ufuk Kocabaş, project lead at Istanbul University, to find out how. Ufuk Bey, this is arguably the most important archaeological find of the 21st century, the Yenikapi shipwrecks. But the advantage here is that you have an abundance of technologies that you've used throughout the whole process. Tell me a little bit about more what's been going on in the last 10 years.
Söylediğiniz gibi dünyanın en büyük gemi
As you mentioned, the world's largest ship assemblage was uncovered during the Yenikapi salvage excavations. As in all archaeological work, the ABCs of archaeology is documentation. At the excavation site, we employed a multi-layered documentation system. When a shipwreck was uncovered, the very first step was to cover it with a protective tent. This served two purposes: to shield the remains from environmental conditions and to protect the ships themselves. These vessels are what we call waterlogged wood, having remained underwater for approximately 1,000 to 1,500 years. Their cellular structure is completely saturated with water and they must never be allowed to dry out. For this reason, our first intervention was to equip the tents with an atomized irrigation system to keep the wood constantly moist. After that, the documentation process began. Since these shipwrecks had to be removed from the site, documentation was the crucial first stage. This was a race against time, as Yenikapi was a salvage excavation for a future transport station, meaning we had to work quickly. For this reason, we made full use of all available technological tools. All shipwrecks were documented in 3 dimensions using total station devices, sometimes recording 10,000, sometimes up to 30,000 reference points. This data was then combined using AutoCAD software. This was followed by multi-layered photomosaic studies carried out with digital cameras. Once all these stages were completed, the shipwrecks were carefully lifted from the site using highly specialized methods. After being transferred to the laboratory, the shipwrecks underwent a second, more detailed post-excavation documentation process. During this phase, 3-dimensional devices were again used, including what we call a ferro arm, a 3-dimensional digitizer. As technology advanced, optical 3D scanning devices were also introduced. Once all documentation was complete, the final stage was conservation. As mentioned earlier, the ship timbers are waterlogged, so the water within the wood must be removed in a controlled manner, and the wood must be impregnated with a chemically stable inert material.
3 boyutlu bir digitizer kullanıldı.
Why do you need to take the water out of the wood? Because I'm assuming the physical wood will actually shrink and not be in a proper state to display. Is that the reason why you're taking the water out?
Kesinlikle sebep bu.
The reason for this is very clear. If the water inside the wood evaporates uncontrollably, it causes the collapse of the wood's cellular structure, leading to warping, shrinkage, and deformation. Therefore, it's essential to impregnate the wood with a chemically inert stabilizing substance. After this stage, the timbers are dried using a freeze-drying system, which operates according to the physical principle of sublimation.
Prensibine göre
Okay, I love this. Frozen in time. So what exactly does this machine do?
aslında tam olarak yaptığı şey
The chamber where the ship timbers are placed is sealed and cooled down to minus 22 degrees Celsius. The unit you see here is the condenser, which collects ice. Between the chamber and the condenser, a vacuum is created, and the condenser itself is cooled to approximately minus 55 to minus 60 degrees Celsius. Once the machine is activated and the process begins, the water inside the wood transitions directly from solid to vapor and is collected in the condenser.
su aslında katıdan buharlaşarak
From ancient ports to sacred domes, Hagia Sophia survived earthquakes, fires, invasions, and yet it still stands. Now it's undergoing its most comprehensive restoration in centuries, a process that fuses centuries-old stonework with cutting-edge structural engineering and seismic modeling. Mehmet Selim Ökten, a structural expert on Hagia Sophia's scientific board, is helping with that restoration. Okay, when you're restoring a 6th century dome like this, the dome of the Hagia Sophia, there must be enormous engineering challenges. Talk to me a little about those challenges.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we need first we need technology, and we need well-developed vehicles, and we need developed new technology materials. So what we see behind us is a technological shoring system, which consists of 4 major columns, and on top of it there's a platform to make it possible to reach the beneath the dome, to make it possible restoration works, to restore ornaments and mosaics.
The Hagia Sophia has seen its fair of damage over 1,500 years. Earthquakes, fires, voluntary restoration. But the thing is, since Sinan's time, this is the first time that technology is really at the forefront of what you're doing, right?
Yeah, you are right. Historically, this magnificent building faced with devastating earthquakes, and also some damages and collapses occurred during the time. And since the Sinan, in 19th century, the architect Fossati made some renovation. But since the Sinan time, I can easily say that this restoration will be the most integrated restoration technique in terms of restoration and structural safety. That's why we built this magnificent structural system to make this to support the structural safety.
I mean, even when you're setting up these massive scaffolding systems, probably every centimeter counts, and there's a lot of research and technology that goes into the placement, how you bring it in, how it's erected.
Yes, you are right. Especially, we are very lucky with, because the data accumulated over years in this building, and also we use advanced GPR techniques. These are ground radar penetration system to find any defects. If we can find any defects on the walls, some boards, some gaps. Also, we can collect some data from the structure. I mean the material properties, mechanical properties, and also there are tunnels under the structure. And for the access route, we have to be sure that which route we follow. So we strengthen every aspect of the structure, under the tunnels, the walls, and also the dome.
Now, one of the biggest tasks or requests from the authorities was, all right, you're going to restore this, but at the same time, you still have to keep it open as a place of worship.
Yeah, sure. That's why we select this scaffolding system that occupy minimum area in the Harim center, because we don't, as you mentioned, we don't close this magnificent building for praying or for visitation. So that's why we chose this scaffolding system.
Just a stone's throw away from the main building, a new chapter of Hagia Sophia's story is being told. Since its reversion into a mosque, many original artifacts, from imperial Qurans to Byzantine mosaics, have found a new home in the Hagia Sophia History and Experience Museum. Here, digital storytelling meets priceless relics, and the result is one of Turkey's first truly immersive museum experiences.
The museum displays 300 original works of art that had previously never been exhibited and had been preserved for many years in storage. Alongside these original artifacts, the museum employs a strong audiovisual and digital narrative to tell the 1700-year history of Hagia Sophia. Visitors can also see a Quran dated to the 15th century, as well as lecterns, Quran cases, oil lamps, and other significant objects from the Hagia Sophia complex. Another important group of artifacts consists of works that originated from Christian churches in Anatolia, particularly those that no longer had active congregations. These objects, including icons and sacred Christian relics, were taken under protection during Hagia Sophia's period as a museum and now form a meaningful part of the collection on display.
This is a good example of modern museum philosophy. Tell me about some of the techniques that are being used to display some of the artifacts that you just mentioned.
Evet, tabii geleneksel müzecilik anlayışında eser odaklı, bir
Traditionally, museums have followed an object-centered and display case-focused approach. However, contemporary museology has moved beyond this model. Today, the focus is on the visitor, aiming to transform the museum visit into a meaningful experience supported by technological, visual, and auditory elements. In this sense, the Hagia Sophia History and Experience Museum can be considered one of Turkey's first examples of a new generation museum. Across the museum's 2 floors, the 1700-year history of Hagia Sophia is conveyed through advanced digital systems. This is followed by the exhibition of original artifacts in a more classical museological format, allowing visitors to reinforce what they've learned through digital experiences with academic and historical context.
Few places in the ancient world are as iconic as Ephesus. Once home to 250,000 people, it's been excavated for over 130 years, yet only a fraction has been uncovered. From its marble roads to its ornate temples and homes, Ephesus tells a sprawling story. But unlocking its next chapters may depend not on brushes, but on algorithms. At the heart of this transformation is the Ephesus Experience Museum, a digital-first, award-winning project redefining how we interact with archaeological sites. I sat down with Meriç Özgen from DEM Museums to find out how they're changing the game. How does the Ephesus Experience Museum compare with traditional museums?
Yes, the most important feature that distinguishes the Ephesus Experience Museum from classical museums is the way we use technology. We use technology not simply as a tool, but as a new dimension for bringing cultural heritage into the present. When we look at the technologies we employ, they include 360-degree projection mapping, hologram technologies, projection and LED systems, floor vibrations, thematic sense, and vibration effects that simulate earthquakes. By combining all these elements, we allow people to experience history from the inside. Through what we call an immersive approach, we place visitors directly within the historical narrative. Technology doesn't support us only on a visual and auditory level. At the same time, uninterrupted operational flow is a crucial part of our work. We currently operate approximately 200 sessions per day, and through fully automated systems, all visual and audio elements run seamlessly without direct human intervention.
And how does this help the viewer form a bond with history?
Experience museums transform the relationship between visitors and history, from one that is purely information-based into something more contextual and holistic. The Ephesus Experience Museum is located within the Ephesus archaeological site, and visitors who've explored the ruins and been emotionally impacted there then come to our museum. Here, they're given the opportunity to walk through the streets of ancient Ephesus in a reconstructed, experiential environment. Through the support of technology, we recreate the social life, commercial activities, and rituals of Ephesus in a way that appeals to all 5 senses. Visitors are fully immersed in this environment. As a result, history ceases to be an abstract concept and becomes something lived, felt, and remembered.
And is this what the future of the museum experience looks like?
The Ephesus Experience Museum also serves as an important reference model for how technology can be used in a sustainable, responsible, and meaningful way in the future of museology. Here, technology never overshadows or dominates history. On the contrary, it functions as a tool that brings history to life, reinforces it, and makes it more memorable. Compared to static museums, the most significant difference today is engagement. Visitors become part of the story and, in a sense, part of history itself. For this reason, we believe that experience museums will play a crucial role in the future of museology.
As Medic said, important technological investments are shaping the future of museums. I can tell you that the future is arriving faster than we think. For centuries, museums were cabinets of curiosity. They were places where relics were locked behind glass and ancient stories stayed frozen in time. But today, technology is breathing life into the past. Whether it's immersive projection rooms, AI-guided tours, or 3D scans that preserve fragile artifacts down to the micron, these aren't just gimmicks. They're tools that deepen our connection to history. Archaeology isn't just about shovels and brushes. Today's archaeologists blend cutting-edge technology with traditional methods to find, protect, and reconstruct ancient sites without even destroying them. From LiDAR scans to VR reconstructions, the past is unearthed with precision and care. And experience museums like the one here in Ephesus and Hagia Sophia are redefining how we connect with history. The future is immersive and it's digital, and it's just getting started. Well, that's it for this edition of NexTech. I'm Ali Janayanlar, and we'll see you next time.